One request that we've seen on the board over the years, and as I think about it, it's the request that I've also used to get in live programs, is how you can help other people to quit smoking once you've stopped. And I realize that I've been making a mistake for years on the board. When I see this question posted, I attach three videos generally. They are telling others that you'd quit smoking and talking to others about not smoking and dealing with people who undercut your quit. And as I went and looked at those videos, I realized none of them addressed the real concern that's being raised. The video telling others that you'd quit smoking was really written for the purpose of letting other people know you quit, because some people won't tell anyone because if they fail, they won't look bad. So they're setting themselves up to fail. And also for the reason that while they're quitting, they may act a little bit off. They may seem a little bit bizarre. People may think that they're using something. I'm not saying using something to get off smoking, that they're using some illicit drug just for recreational purposes, or that they're just generally losing their mind. So I want people to let others know that they're quitting so they understand, why reactions may be a little bit off those first few days. The talking to other video was in reference to learning from people who have quit smoking, how they were able to stay off. So it's kind of geared at a new quitter who is, looking for reinforcement, or into talking to people who currently smoke, because many of them had past quits. Many of them had past quits that they lost. They were off a lot longer maybe than you were at this point in time that you're watching it for reinforcement, and they lost it, and you can learn from them what went wrong. You can learn from them how bad they feel that they currently smoke. They may not even say it in words, but in expressions and just reactions that you'll hear from them. Talking to a smoker can often reinforce your resolve not to smoke. And then the video dealing with people who try to undercut your quit is just when, preparing you that when you're talking to people who smoke, they may feel threatened by your quit and may offer you cigarettes and do other little, routines that can kind of try to cause you to smoke a cigarette. But none of those are dealing with the real issue that I think a lot of people are asking about, and how can they help influence others? Well, first thing I want to point out is just by the fact that you quit smoking. Some people looked at you as, they knew you for years. They knew you for decades. The whole time they knew you, you were a smoker. You were a really good smoker. You were a heavy smoker. You were a person who seemed like they liked smoking. You were a person who thought could never quit. They thought that. You thought that. You quit smoking. As more people see others quit smoking, and not only just are you not smoking, but every now and then you're smiling, having nothing to do with quitting smoking. It's just your life is going on, you're seeming relatively comfortable, and even when you're not talking about your experience of smoking and your experience of quitting, the more they just see you going on with your life and seeming relatively comfortable. In fact, in many cases, seeming calmer than when you were a smoker, seeming like you're getting more things done than when you were a smoker, without you having to say a word. They're witnessing this. They're seeing that you're not just, a useless lump of clay because you don't smoke anymore. You just sit home and, totally lethargic and can get nothing done and are now a useless human being because you don't smoke anymore. Because this is the vision they might have of life without smoking. That's what their life is going to be like. That's what they thought your life maybe was going to be like. And it wasn't. You went on and you're doing fine. So you don't even at times have to say anything. And there will be times, though, where they will finally ask you, how you quit smoking. And, I've always made a point of saying it's not a matter that you have to push people into our site. You can let them know that we have materials available. But the main message for you to deliver is you finally came to a point that you understood what you were dealing with. You were addicted to nicotine. You can pass along the same information, the same understanding that we tried to help pass along to you to get you to realize what you're fighting. Some people don't want to go to an internet site. They don't. But you can pass along the insights. But again, I think the most important thing you're going to pass along is the reality that your life went on without smoking. And hopefully they'll recognize that, their life can go on too. I want to touch on the issue here of trying to push people to quit smoking. That's kind of a different issue. I had an experience one time where somebody in a clinic had brought up to me, and it was near the end of the program. In fact, it may have been at a follow-up thing. I don't remember when it was said, but all of a sudden he comes up with a line. He says, I'm really kind of amazed because, I've sat through hours with you now. I've watched you dealing with, all these people. You were dealing with me, you were dealing with whole groups. And he said, I'm almost sure you never made the comment once where you asked anybody to quit smoking, where you tried to put pressure on anyone who was in the group to, to not smoke. You didn't say to anyone, please don't smoke. People were complaining about how bad they were feeling, or people who were saying how much they wanted a cigarette. You never said to them, please don't smoke. And it struck me when he said that's true. I just don't ask people not to smoke. And then I thought back about when I used to do my school programs. Before I was doing smoking clinics, I was doing prevention programs. And I realized when I was talking to, again, thousands of kids, we're talking about tens of thousands really, about, that they shouldn't be smokers. That was what the program was about. But I never really said in those programs that they shouldn't be smokers. I remember my general opening when I was doing all these programs was, I would say, I'm not here telling you not to smoke. I'm not telling you you're bad if you smoke. I'm not telling you you can't smoke. I'm here showing you what smoking is, what it can do to you, and if you want to smoke after that, that's totally up to you. Why should they listen to me? I was a stranger coming in. It wasn't even like people in the clinic who were going to get to know me. They were going to see me for 45 minutes to an hour and never see me again. They couldn't quit for me. They could not take up smoking for me. Whatever they were going to do, they were going to do for them. But I realized it was the same philosophy that I was dealing with in clinic formats. I never asked people not to smoke or told them not to smoke. I told them what smoking would do to them. I tried to help them understand that there was life after smoking if they wanted to pursue that life. But it was never trying to tell them to quit because I am asking them to quit. Again, it's a personal thing. It's a personal preference that I work with. But I kind of think it's an important one. People have to quit for themselves, which means they can't quit for you. If you have quit smoking and you got family members and friends who smoke, yeah, there's probably a part of you that naturally wants them to quit smoking. But you can't make it when you do the request. I just don't believe you can say, because I quit, you should do this for me. You need to always make it clear that, they've got to quit for them. You'll be there to help them if they want help, if they want information. You can find information and send it along to them. You know where lots of resources are. You'll have, for someone just coming into the site cold, it could take a while to find specific information. Hey, if you've been here for a while and you're reading, it's one of the things about the quit journals. I was a little nervous when the quit journals came in because I really thought they were going to become more of a social kind of thing. But they kind of worked out well because people were able to write down things that they were worried about and things that they were concerned with, and we were able to address those very specific concerns right in your journal. So if you hear someone say something that you remember, oh, you had that feeling, there's a pretty good chance that if you go in your journal and look to where you wrote that feeling or the question that you had at that point in time, there's the exact link to the exact article, to the exact video of what, how that was addressed. You can send that link to, to this other person who was having the same concern. So the thing that I want you to understand, as an ex-smoker, you have a certain degree of credibility. If they knew you as a smoker, again, a smoker who they did not believe could quit, and you've quit smoking, you've got a certain level of credibility with these people already, and you might very well be able to help them with that. It won't be by preaching, it won't be by lecturing, it won't be by hiding their cigarettes or stealing their cigarettes or doing any kind of enforcement. It'll be by, again, you set the example of what can be done, and you have a little more insight in all probability than they do of what they can do to make their quits more successful when they're ready to do it. So anyway, I feel this video is filling that gap. When the question comes up of, what can I do to help people quit smoking, you could do what you're doing. It's a side benefit. This is not why you quit. This should not be your motivation for quitting, but it is a side perk that you may very well be able to help the people around you by having now set the example that there's life after smoking, that you're able to quit, that it's a comfortable life, and by just proving, beyond any shadow of a doubt that, your life went on. You were able to do everything that you did before, and you were able to quit. And up to this point, you're proving that you were able to keep this quit going by having learned one thing that you put into practice that you could share with them. And that one concept that you learned that you are, living day by day up to this point. And we know you are because you're an ex-smoker right now. What you did to be that ex-smoker was you made a commitment and you stuck to that commitment to never take another puff.